Alright, hear me out, vlog. I know it's late as fuck, but I'm really drunk and I'm on shrooms. I'm walking down the fucking road, dude. It's pitch fucking black right now. I think I know where I'm going though, but fuck, man. Shit is kind of scary. People are too self-absorbed nowadays. They only care about themselves. It's all about me, me, me. How can I become rich? How can I be the most successful? How can I gain the most followers? All we care about is getting more. We never stop to really think about what we already have. We never stop to think about who already loves us and not who we wish would love us. We're always looking for more and never appreciating what is already there. I started to understand this more and more when I went on a trip to Hawaii, specifically Hana, which is a small town located in Maui. My friend invited me to tag along on an excursion to see his family that he hadn't seen for 10 plus years. We booked the tickets 2 weeks in advance, and before I knew it, I was in the jungles of Maui. Hana is a very rural area with beautiful views and an outburst of luscious green nature for miles on miles. Feels like you're stepping onto the set of Jurassic Park, which makes perfect sense because that's where it was filmed. It almost felt like a T-Rex would emerge through the foliage and flip our car over. That mixed with the winding steep roads that lead to drop-offs that you would only hope to survive in a video game, it was safe to say that my life was now in the hands of the nature around me. This was a new feeling for me. I'd always felt invincible living in the city, speeding through LA traffic on the way to downtown, cutting people off, never once stopping to think that I was in a moving death trap that I could die in at any moment. Checking my phone while driving, walking along the street, looking down at my phone without a care in the world. Controlled chaos might be a word that could describe that reality. Narcissism, being oblivious. For some reason that chaos felt safe to me, but now I felt uncertainty, like I had a lack of control. If the ocean grabs you and takes you away, there's no one to sue, no one to blame but your own ignorance. Accountability must be taken in the jungle or your life will be. That was a new feeling, the feeling that nature didn't care who you were, where you came from, how successful you are. It'll treat everyone the same, which is probably why there was a strong sense of unity among the people. Now I'm going to get to why I'm telling you all of this. So, I took shrooms in Hawaii. Long story short, Kaya, my friend, had a cousin that also tagged along with us. She somehow was able to bring shrooms along in her luggage, so yeah, obviously we had to take them. It was pitch black. Kaya and his cousins were at the neighboring house over. I had just taken a shower and decided to meet them later. I was high off my ass because if there's one thing that Hawaiians do more than drinking, it's smoking weed. Everywhere I would go, one of Kaya's cousins would ask me if I wanted a hit. Being the most courteous guest I could possibly be, I obviously never turned them down. So in conclusion, I was fated the whole trip. Let's continue with the story. I dried off, slipped my clothes on, and walked over to the neighboring house. It seems like a simple task, but being high as fuck and walking in the pitch black through the jungle is actually a hard task. I turned on my phone flashlight and put one foot in front of the other, like that one Christmas song. After a while, I made it to the house. It was an old style bluish colored house that you could barely just see the silhouette of because of the dim porch lights. Everyone was sat on the porch exchanging stories while taking the occasional sip out of their third beer can of the night. I walked over and joined them. They all had already had their piece of the chocolate shroom bar, so all that was left was 2 perfect squares for me to indulge in. I looked over to the table, grabbed the rest of that drug-filled chocolate bar and put it in my mouth. It tasted like your average run-of-the-mill Hershey's bar. Context entailed that there were contrasting differences. An hour passed. I felt nothing. 2 hours passed. Nothing. 3 hours passed. I was now shroomed the fuck out. Everyone was pretty shroomed the fuck out. The one key sign in knowing that everyone is off shrooms is to look at everyone's face. If they look like a dumb, happy-ass person staring off into space, then shrooms are probably running rampant through their digestive tract. The air felt so crisp and clean. I could take deep breaths for hours. The darkness onlooking from the porch was vast. It was almost as if we were being consumed by it. The shadowy silhouette of the tropical trees swaying back and forth, the distant outcry of the cows further downhill, and the crashing sound of the waves as they swayed back and forth, punishing the now smoothly eroded rocks. The ambience left me mesmerized and forced me to have an epiphany, a strange realization of how little we all are. How insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. How without a consciousness we are no different than the pigs we send to be slaughtered every day. We're just animals. We can die at any moment. The world doesn't orbit around us. We're just inhabitants. The animals don't give a fuck who you are. The trees don't. The poisonous plants don't. The millions of species of insects definitely don't. Living in the city, you aren't ever really able to grasp that reality. Everything is human created. There's a constant flow of traffic, people on their phones, loud music, restaurants filled with idle chatter and the sharp clinking sounds of silverware clacking against porcelain plates. Everything is made by a human. That is the human world. We feel in control because everything is made in the human image. Add social media to the mix and you have a society of people who think they're invincible. Invincible people who aren't really invincible tend to make the wrong choices because they're unable to comprehend their critical weakness, which is their proclivity to mortality. We aren't able to live in the moment and appreciate what we have because we're too blinded by our own egos. We never stay still, always moving forward, looking for the next biggest thing. So if you took anything away from this highly informative story about a young writer taking shrooms, just remember to take time out of your day to be idle. Sit in silence. Meditate. Take a nature walk. Do something that forces you to halt for a second. Because if we don't stop to smell the roses, then what is living this life all about? There's no reason to be pissed about shit.
That's good.
Yeah, exactly. There's no fucking need, bro.
If the fucking stick is up, then.
What? The stick is up? What the fuck is that?
The stick is up. I'm like, oh, bro, it's on.
Bro, you're fucking up, dude? What's up, bro? Yeah, wait, watch out, watch out. Don't step on that. Oh, yeah, step on that.
Oh, yes.
Just watch out for the camera. I don't want you to trip, dude. Yeah, dude. Are you loving nature, bro? What's up?
I'm going to the mountain.
Bro, don't fucking do that, dude.